Hello, YouTube family. Greg D, aka the DCUO Gingerbread Man, back here with another video. And today, I wanted to make a video talking about the different types of DPS builds that you can mold your character into in the game. So there's a couple that we need to go over. Before we go into that, though, if you guys could do me a huge solid favor and hit that subscribe button if you're new, hit that thumbs up button as well. Let the YouTube algorithm know that we are here and to help get us in front of more players who could find this information useful. Hopefully someone out there finds some use out of this information. This will be more so for newer players, but if you're 5-10 years out of the game and don't know what's going on as far as the new kind of DPS style, hopefully this will help a little bit. So what we basically have right now in the game is we have precision, might, hybrid, and full pet builds, depending on your play style, what you find fun, what you're comfortable with, if there's a particular theme that you're going for. Now, most people will tell you right now that the supercharged spam might build is the OP, is the meta, but I mean, you're not really. The nice thing about this is even with one character, even if you do only play with one character, you can have multiple armories. You can try different builds, different setups, and see what you like the best. As I always said, test it out for yourself. Try it out for yourself. Try different things and see what works, right? So first off, this is my hybrid setup. If any of you guys follow myself or Horace, you'll know that we are the hybrid DPS kings, trash kings, and we love the DPS style of things. So one thing I will mention is don't forget that precision is your damage based off of weapon combos, and might is the damage that's done from your power tray. So, for example, that's all precision damage. That's all precision damage. The orange numbers that you see are your pet damage. So just keep that in mind. Now you'll notice yellow, that's all the damage coming from my powers there. So we'll start with precision. So what you would want to do is with precision, you would probably want to have your cross weapon combo set up. So depending on which one you want to go, I use brawling into martial arts because that seems to be the more popular one running through the game right now. So you fill out all these points, then you go to the separate tree. So like, for example, if you want to do martial arts and hand blaster, you would fill out all the martial arts points. Then you'd go to hand blaster, fill out all those. Then you'd go back to the martial arts and pick whichever one that you wanted. Like I said, brawling in the martial arts is the one that I use. Dual wield into flurry shot is a good one. I've used two-handed into Aerostorm Mastery before. I've used one-handed. I've used a hand blaster one. So, like I said, you'll notice a lot of people use the brawling in the martial arts just because it's fast. It does a lot of burst damage. But at the end of the day, you can kind of use whatever you want. Now, as far as artifacts would be concerned, you would want to have ones that give you, in the case of precision, you'd want to have ones that will give you a lot of precision. Or you could use hybrid ones as well. You could use something like Tantu. But anything that gives you precision. You could use the Trans card, Strat card for because they give you both precision and might. Trans card gives you precision and might. Pages is the newest artifact in the game as of the making of this video. That one gives you precision and buffs everything. It buffs your precision, your resto, your might, your vitalization, all of it. If you did want to kind of set up a precision build, though, like I said, you could use the cards, you could use Tantu, you could use pages, you could throw in Venom Wrist Dispenser, which is a precision artifact. So just kind of test things out, play with them as you see fit, see what works best for you. As far as what you would do for your stat points, I'd go Weapon Expert, critical attack chance, critical attack damage. If you were low in skill points, I would say throw everything that you have into precision. maybe throw a couple into might. If you have enough skill points where you could, get this higher, a lot of people will kind of focus on that 100 point philosophy. And what I mean by that is they'll throw in 100 points into each one of these things down here. Just because in a DPS role, a lot of times there can be diminishing returns on investment. Once you get over like 100 points, 100 points will at least get you a 10% boost in stats. It's up to you at the end of the day what how you want to spec your points, but so you could go full points into here if you wanted to. If you had enough, you could go like 100 in here. You could put 100 in might. You could put 100 in health if you were wanted to be a little bit more tanky, or dominance for your shields if you have a power that has a lot of shields, for example. So just something to keep in mind there. Me being hybrid, I have the hybrid here, which hybrid means you're going to be getting your damage from both your precision, your weapon moves, and your loadout tray, and kind of combining the two for a more balanced type of effort there. But it would be the same thing. You'd set it up hybrid, critical attack chance, critical attack damage. Now, I've tried this balanced to have these balanced. So, for example, like I've tried it putting like 200 points here and 200 points here. I'm currently working on a recommendation that I got from Horus as far as putting more skill points into might as opposed to precision, because you will still get more damage from might as opposed to precision. So I'm trying this out right now. I have this maxed out, and then I put everything else into precision. Again, if you wanted to kind of follow that 100 point philosophy, you could put 100 points here, 100 points here. If you had some left over, you could put them, again, whatever your support role is. You could put whatever else into health if you wanted to be more tanky, or dominance for your shields, or resto if you wanted a little bit more self-heal action. It just depends on what you want. So that is that. And again, what I would say is the hybrid style is going to be like you're hitting a weapon move, you're hitting some of your power moves. You're hitting a weapon move, you're hitting some of your power moves. You're hitting a weapon move, you're hitting some of your power stuff here. So just keep that in mind. All right. And then as far as my current build with my hybrid regarding my artifacts, Candle, Omega, Trans, which seems to be the three that most people will run for the OP meta setup. And then we have Tantu, which, as most of you know, is one of my favorite artifacts in the game. And then Quizlet. I'm just trying this out, and it seems to be working pretty well. So then you have your might build. So your might build is going to literally be you're not doing any kind of weapon attacks. All of your damage is going to come from your loadout tray, where you literally just go from right to left, and you're just kind of doing this. You're just kind of going through, and you're doing your thing, and that's it. You're just kind of going through your tray, and then that's all the damage that you're doing, right? So some of the, let's see. So currently how I have I'm not going to go into specifics as far as my loadout, just because I've made videos recently on that. So I'm going to try to leave this a little bit more general. But currently my might setup, I have Candle, Omega, Trans. Again, that seems to be the OP, the meta way to go. These two you can kind of mix and match depending on what you do. I do have kind of like a supercharge type build here with this. So I have scrap for the supercharge generation. I have pages here for the buffs, because don't forget, pages will buff your precision, your might, your vitalization, your resto, your defense. If you wanted to try something else, or if you didn't have pages, you could throw in an Eye of Gemini in there to get the proc, the little damage field when you pop your supercharge for 6 seconds. That will boost not only your damage but the group's damage. You could throw in Quizlet here too, because Quizlet, when he does his attack and you use your supercharge, he will give you 1% supercharge back, which doesn't sound like a lot, but hey, every little bit helps. So there's that. You could throw in Sinestra's Ring in here if you wanted to do that as well. So you have options. You could throw in Ebon if you wanted more power. So at the end of the day, it's up to you. Just kind of, do your thing there. So those are those three. Now, what I might need to do here is I need to switch over to my pet build, because I don't have a pet build with this character, but I do on my Earth character. So if you don't know, you can honestly make a pet build for any character. However, you have Sorcery and Earth, which are the pet powers themselves within the game, meaning that when you're leveling up your character through level 30, you will earn pets. So with Earth at level 5, we'll show you. Level 5, you come up here. At level 5, you will earn a tank pet and a DPS pet, so depending on what you do. Now, with Sorcery is a healer power, so you'll earn a tank pet, a DPS pet, and a healer pet for passive heals. So it really just depends on what you want to do. You know what I mean? So not only do you have, like, you can go like full on pet build. Pet builds are kind of frowned upon by a lot of people in the game, just because they are not as strong as they used to be, and your power regeneration goes down because of having the pets out. However, I still have a lot of fun personally. I don't want to say that I ever get bored with my main character and playing electric. However, I will say that sometimes if I want a change of pace, I will use this character to kind of play a pet build. So what I do with my artifacts here is I've got Source Shard, we've got Quizlet, we've got Grim, we've got Mercy. Mercy will help boost your trinket pets, which are your pets that you have over here, right? Grim is a pet that comes out once you get the level or the artifact leveled up to 80. Quizlet is a pet that comes out when you're in combat once you hit level 80. Source Shard, once you hit level 80, will help boost the damage of all of these pets. What I mean is, like, it'll help boost the Quizlet, the Grim, the trinket pets. However, just excuse me, just keep in mind that the even at level 200, there is a max for Source Shard, so it will only boost 3 pets at a time. So just keep that in mind. So if you're not necessarily, so like what I run is those 4 plus Tantu. That's just how I set up, because I have more of a precision or a hybrid style with this character. If you wanted to go more of a might-based style, you could switch out Tantu for a trans card, an Omega, a Sinestra's Ring, a Pages, whatever you see fit or whatever you want to try. If you have a power that's not a pet power, like, for example, our boy Horace has a pet build with his gadget setup. So you don't have to necessarily use these 4 in your build, but you could, for example, if you wanted to have a pet in combat with you, you could use Quizlet. And then if you run trinket pets, you could use Source Shard to help buff them all up. So you could run those 2 and then whatever other 3 that you see fit. Or you could just go really, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of the word and I can't think of it, but you could go even more simplistic, I guess you could say, and just use Mercy and just have the boost, because Mercy will not only heal your trinket pets, but will boost the damage as soon as you summon them. So that's something to consider too. Like I said, most people will frown upon pet DPSing in general just because it's not as strong as it used to be. And like I said, you do get a power regen reduction once you summon the pets, which kind of sucks, and I wish they would take that away. But in my mind, it's still kind of fun. But there you go. So you've got your let me try again. You have your precision, you have your might, you have your hybrid, and your pet. So again, take what I said with a grain of salt, of course. Take your play style, take what you find the most fun, take what, whatever power that you're using currently or one that you are thinking about using, and try it out for yourself. Test things out. You'll notice that not only myself, but my other friends in the DC YouTube community, Solarius, Jacob, Skeletto, Horace, Mel, Kiani, we got Stacy. I can't name everybody, but we have this mindset of we're always trying to challenge ourselves and make things better. We're always tweaking things, whether that's our skill point setup, whether that's our artifacts and how we're mixing and matching those, whether we're tweaking our loadout a little bit. We're always trying to challenge ourselves to become a little better, to make ourselves a little better, just to see if we can maybe tweak out a little bit of extra damage here, a couple more heals over here. Maybe it's a little bit extra survivability with some shields or something like that. But we're always tweaking. We're always trying to challenge ourselves. And I challenge you to do the same thing. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to conclude this video right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. And until next time, see you soon.